Am I the a-hole for canceling significant other's birthday plans after finding out I was not invited? Let me start the post off by saying my 21 female significant other's 22 male love language is gift giving. He loves to shop for people. He loves to give gifts, especially extravagant ones. For example, over the 3 years we've been together, he's given me a car, 3 dogs, a new phone, and many more smaller items. I, on the other hand, struggle with gift giving, especially for him. He is the person that if he wants it, he will buy it for himself. 2 different times I had purchased him a gift before the holiday rolled around. He had went and purchased the exact same thing for himself. So finding something he both likes and doesn't already have is a struggle. This year, I decided I would go above and beyond. I set aside a couple $1,000s, a lot for me, not so much for him, to make sure I can get him extravagant gifts. This year, he discussed with me he wanted to go to Puerto Rico. Immediately, I found a 4-bedroom house, more than enough room for his friends, him and I. He also booked a yacht for us to spend a day on. That ended up being more than I set aside for, but I booked a yacht anyway, since he always goes above and beyond for me. I don't wanted him to have a great birthday. Well, tonight I asked him if I should purchase his gifts here and travel with him, or if I should go shopping in Puerto Rico. He tells me I was not coming. Note, earlier this week he discussed us going to Puerto Rico. Also discussed how his friend would be traveling with us on this trip. So he immediately sensed my confusion. He quickly started backtracking and told me I would be coming, just at the end of the week, missing his birthday. My feelings were hurt at first. To think the person I wanted to spend my birthdays with doesn't want to spend theirs with me hit a little different. My feelings soon changed, as I realized this also meant I would miss out on a yacht I went over budget on. Immediately I went to cancel the yacht, trying to get some form of payment back since it had already been 24 hours since booking. The yacht was a surprise, so it was never mentioned. But after canceling it and only getting partial refund, I told him what I had planned. I also told him since I would have to wait 5 days after his birthday to even see him, his gifts would not be as extravagant and I would not have things like a cake decorations or anything set up for him. He told me I was the a-hole. The yacht was for him and not me, so regardless if I attended, I should have left the reservation in place. He also tells me his gifts should not change since he will see me after his birthday. I disagree. I can't imagine spending thousands of dollars on gifts for someone just to give it to them a week after their birthday. I also cannot imagine spending over $1,000 on a yacht that I would never see. Am I the a-hole for canceling my plans for a significant other's birthday after finding out I am not invited? Now for the comments. He's either trying to spend his birthday with another girl, or spending his birthday with his friends is more preferable to him than spending it with you and friends. Either way, this is red flag territory, and I'd reassess this relationship. That's honestly the vibes I got. I found a way better house in the Dominican Republic, way bigger and quite a bit cheaper. He wouldn't even look at the house there and insisted to go to Puerto Rico. I got the vibes he had someone in Puerto Rico he wanted to spend his birthday with, but I also thought that might be a tad crazy. No, trust your gut. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I would use the time he was gone to move out, kick him to the curb, and find someone who appreciates you. He does not come across as someone who is trustworthy. And cancel the whole thing immediately. Consider any lost deposit money well spent on the cost of learning who he really is and how little he values you. I'm sorry, you deserve so much better. Not today home. You purchased a trip for him, his friends, and yourself. He doesn't get to kick you out. Cancel the whole trip and cancel the relationship. Or go on the trip without him. Bring your friends, go on a yacht. I cannot imagine my significant other spending thousands of dollars on a vacation and not bring them along. It seems really suspicious to me. Maybe he has a side chick or was planning to get a birthday action out clubbing with the boys. Either way, it was selfish for him and you deserve better. I honestly got the second option vibes too. No reason I would hinder any plans he had going on. Seems like he just had things planned he didn't want me attending. Next story. Am I the a-hole for being a downer at my husband's grad celebration? My 30s female husband, 30s male, is graduating college. His class decided to go out to celebrate with drinks after their exams, but he said significant others weren't invited. He had a routine checkup with my primary just before the celebration started, and she found a lump on my breast. I'm young, but have a history of breast cancer on my mom's side. My aunt died before the age of 35 from it. She wanted me to get a biopsy that day and referred me to the correct place. It was going to be a few hours before they could see me, as they were doing her a favor and it was obviously short notice. I was a crying mess, so my husband reluctantly agreed for me to come wait for him at the bar for my appointment time. I got to the bar, introductions were made, and although I was quite scared, I felt I was nice to everyone and as talkative as I could be. I left my husband at the bar with his classmates and went for the biopsy, followed by mammogram. It was terrifying, but my doctor was great, and a nurse held my hand through it all. When I got home, my husband was pissed at me. Apparently, I offended his classmates because I was standoffish and rude to them, and in their words, just an overall downer that brought down the mood of the celebration. He said I embarrassed him, and he regretted having me join them. I now feel terrible, like I ruined his day to celebrate with his friends, and maybe should have just kept the situation to myself so as not to bring him and them down. Added key points. Yes, husband knew all details of cancer scare as soon as first appointment ended. I'm the only one working while he's in school. I did not pay for school. And just in case anyone other than the super kind person is wondering, I've taken him to a nice dinner after every milestone was passed, and as a consolation if things haven't gone great. I worked a side job while he's in class to save up secret money, and bought him a private deep-sea fishing charter for his graduation gift. I'm not a bad wife. I do what I can within my limited means. Wait, let me get this straight. You discovered something possibly life-threatening and at least life-altering, and instead of your husband staying at your side and help you through this experience, he chooses to go to a celebration and let you wait with him in the bar before scare exams, and then had the audacity to be mad about your mood. Holy cow, girl. This calls for some serious conversation between you two. But honestly, I see red flags all over. Not today haul big time, but your husband definitely is. Yeah, just to doubly point out here, OP, he should not have even gone to his graduation. He should have been by your side for the wait, the appointment, and the rest of the day/evening. You need to have a long think whether you want to be with a man who cares so little about you. Your husband was unsympathetic, unsupportive, and plain cruel, and his friends were damn out of line. There's no way I'd even listen to my friends criticizing my partner like that, let alone repeating the message to him. You were getting a biopsied mammogram, in itself a scary thing, but worse because you have a history of cancer. And not only did your husband not go with you, but he criticized you for acting down? I hope he changes his attitude. I'm betting the friends didn't say a word. I reckon this is all because hubby knows he was being a royal a-hole, and is flipping it right back at Opie. Or worse, he mentioned where she was going, and they either directly or indirectly let him know he was totally in the wrong, and he's taking it out on her. I really doubt they said anything about her at all. Did your husband know that your doctor found a lump? What the ever-loving hell? He is mad at you for being a downer rather than supporting you? Whoa. That is messed up. I hope your tests come back with good news and your husband grows a heart. He did know, yes. I called as soon as the first appointment ended because I was kind of a mess. I panicked. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my brother and his wife that I will be suing them for selling the nursery I gave them? I, female 36, lost my 3-year-old son from a chronic condition that he was born with. I struggled a lot with his illness and received a lot of support from my family when my ex-husband was too busy with work than care for his son. When my brother and his wife found out they were expecting, they suffered from a miscarriage after a miscarriage, and because of their financial situation, I decided to lend them my son's nursery to use for their baby, under the condition they give it back when they no longer need it. It's an expensive nursery, and the process of shipping, I live in another country, took me time and money, and of course not to mention its sentimental value. They were so grateful for my help, and appreciated it a lot, but my sister-in-law unfortunately lost her baby at 5 months into pregnancy. And I heard from my mother since my brother and sister-in-law went low contact with everyone to be able to grieve. I waited a few months before asking for the nursery back since they no longer need it. I called and asked my brother to send it back despite how cruel I sounded, but I just had to get it back. But I was shocked after my brother said they sold it. All of it. Every single piece. I asked why, and he said his wife was depressed and he needed money to take her on a vacation a month ago. I lost my temper and started screaming at him on the phone, reminding him that this belonged to my son, and only for them to borrow, not sell. He apologized and asked me to be understanding of his wife's position as a grieving mother myself. I said no, they should have considered how selling my son's nursery would affect me as a grieving mother. And he replied that he didn't think I was being fair to scream at him for wanting to help his wife through these hard times. I told him that is not my problem, and that I will be suing them both over the nursery and for every penny made out of selling it. He called me nuts and hung up, then called my parents. They tried to get involved after I threatened to sue and called me callous and unhinged for threatening my brother and sister-in-law with court and told me to let it go. That I don't need the nursery. It is not worth causing permanent damage in my relationship with my brother over a few pieces of furniture. My ex-husband blamed me, saying it was my fault for giving the nursery to my brother, but I just wanted to help. He keeps pushing for the idea to sue, but my parents are telling me not to. Am I the a-hole for wanting to sue them for the nursery that cost us nearly over $4,000? Just to explain something, my ex-husband gets a say because he paid for the nursery as well, but he keeps pushing for me to sue and told me he'll do it if I choose to back down. He keeps saying it's my fault for letting my brother have the nursery in the first place. It is very upset with me about it. It was so unbelievably cruel and selfish for them to sell mementos of your son for a vacation. You lending them the nursery for free represents how highly you regarded them, and how you very kindly hoped that they would honor your son's memory by bringing up their own child with this nursery. And they in turn said, your love of your deceased son means nothing to us. It is only worth as much as we can get breaking the set down and selling it. Sue their pants off. Go with your parents' pressure and pretend to be ready to move on if they apologize for selling items they were supposed to return to you, out of emotional desperation if you have to. Anything to get them to admit in writing/text that it was a loan, not a gift. Then absolutely rinse them in court. This. Sue them for every penny, and then the legal fees. For a vacation? I cannot even believe this. We all have awful, traumatic events. What we don't all do is sell sentimental items that were ours that we promised to return because we needed a vacation. I'm so angry and disgusted with them both on your behalf. Edit to add. I'm trying to imagine the effing discussion that took place at the level of pure audacity, selfishness, and dismissiveness, and after Opie did these guys a huge favor too. Sweetie, I need to get away. I'm so depressed. But we have no money. Oh, but we have her nursery. But didn't Opie ask us to return it? And it's quite expensive. She probably forgot about it. Also, I need this. She might be mad, but I'm sure she'll let it go. Let's sell it. Go on vacation and worry about it later. Consequences happen. Cue shocked Pikachu faces. I need to get off this thread. My blood is boiling. The words I'd like to use to describe those two are words that would get me banned. Get a lawyer and get the ball rolling. Now. This needs consequences. It was not theirs to sell. It's yours. I understand her grieving, but that was probably a reminder of your son you wanted to hold on to. I'm sorry you had to go through all this, but you should definitely sue. They clearly don't respect you. Exactly how I explained it to my parents, but they suggested I stop bringing it up now, and that they'll pay me money every month till I get the full cost. But I feel like by doing this, they're enabling my brother's behavior and making excuses for him. They are enabling him. He was completely out of place, and the money won't replace the memories they took from you anyway. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole after no longer allowing my mother-in-law's friend to babysit my children after she started calling them her babies? I'm 26 female, I'm the mother of 2 kids, 4 female and 3 male. My husband, 27 male, and I both work office jobs, and due to this, we need someone to watch the kids while we aren't home. We mostly had babysitters, but a few months back, my mother-in-law, 48 female, suggested that her friend could watch them for free. I told her it wasn't necessary since we could afford a babysitter just fine, but she insisted. I didn't really see any harm in it after she kept asking, so I gave in and her friend, 45 female, started babysitting our kids. Everything was perfect for the first few months. She was always on time and always fed my kids and put them to bed at the time I suggested. My kids seemed to really like her. But about a few weeks ago, my oldest came to me and asked me if I was their real mommy. I was confused and asked her what she meant. Well, it turns out mother-in-law's friend had been telling my kids that they were her babies. And when they protested saying they weren't, she would yell at them saying that I was just their moneymaker and that she was their real mommy. I told my husband about this and he hired a babysitter on the spot. Then me and him called my mother-in-law and told her about the situation. We told her that we weren't going to have her friend over anymore because it made us uncomfortable. We even told her what my kid had told me. Well, mother-in-law didn't take it well. Over the phone, she started screaming, saying that, quote-unquote, "My friend doesn't have any kids or grandchildren, so your kids are the closest thing she's had to it, and you're going to take that away from her?" My husband and I tried to calm her down, but after a bit, we just hung up. I received a photo of my mother-in-law's friend crying on mother-in-law's couch later that night. I feel horrible for making her upset, but I don't like how she was telling my kids these things. I understand that she doesn't have kids, but that doesn't excuse her behavior. But for my peace of mind, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If anything, you underreacted. Would your mother-in-law ever help her friends see them? To the point of taking the kids behind your back. I take them to a few sessions with a therapist. They were clearly confused, and the damage this unhinged woman did can run deeper than you know right now. Kids internalize that kind of stuff. Not the a-hole. She claimed ownership of your kids and decided to hide it from you for a long period of time. During this time, she viciously yelled at your kids for denying this claim and defending you. That's not a woman whom you want around your kids. She doesn't sound mentally stable, and it makes the kids doubt their identity and be dubious of your motherhood and your relation to them, which is vastly detrimental to them and has the potential to cause further problems. It's sad that she doesn't have any kids of her own, but it seems like she has gone too far, and she isn't able to take care of them while thinking of them as hers and ingraining this mindset in them. She proved incapability to do that. It's not your fault. You gave her the chance to prove herself, and unfortunately she failed. You're not the ones to blame here. Mother-in-law's anger was directed at you and justifiably, but in these situations, the victims try to blame others. Moreover, I don't know if it's just me, but I found a whole sent you a picture of her sobbing thing weird. Who takes a picture of his friend whilst she's crying and sends it to someone else to guilt trip him, implying that he has caused it? It seems unhinged and unnatural. I don't know if the friend consented to this or not. If she did, she was an accomplice in an attempt to guilt trip them into making them feel guilty and rehire her. Whereas if it was done unbeknownst to her, it crosses the line. She was vulnerable, and mother-in-law took advantage of that to prove her point. Am I the a-hole for getting upset my boyfriend wouldn't take me to the ER? My boyfriend, male 20, and I, female 21, live together at my parents'. I've been having some pretty bad UTI symptoms. I went to a walk-in clinic 2 weeks ago when I had clear signs of infection, and they sent me home and said I tested negative. I woke up a week later with extreme hip pain. I spent all day on a heating pad and crying. 2 more days passed, and then I woke up with the worst abdominal pain I've ever had. I began screaming and called my mom. She says to wake up my boyfriend and tell him to take me to the nearby hospital, 7 minutes, that is small, or one that's 35 minutes away that would properly handle what was going on. I wake him up and he says to just sleep it off. At this point, I'm in tears. He says no and alludes that I'm overreacting, which I've been known to do, and it's probably nothing because I tested negative. I feel as if I've been stabbed, and this is not the type of pain I can wait out. I even compare how I'm feeling to a possible bladder rupture because of how awful I felt. Finally, he agrees to take me, but only if I let him sleep for 2 more hours. I understand that if it was some ungodly time, but it was currently 11:30 a.m. and I went to bed at 3 a.m. after playing video games. I explain that I can't wait that long and have no one else home to drive me. He turns over and lays back down. An hour goes by of the worst pain of my life, and I decide I will just try to suck it up and drive myself to the nearby ER. I woke him up one more time, and I explained that I cannot wait any longer and need to go now because something is wrong. He snaps and says give him 1 more hour, then lays back down. I storm off in my car and make it about 2 blocks before I realize I forgot my wallet, and I was in no state to drive as I was literally in so much pain I couldn't focus. I come home and lay down in bed beside him as I scream out in pain. He says that I know it takes time for him to wake up, and I have no right to get mad. I barely utter out, please take me to the one 7 minutes away because I'm scared. I remind him that I've driven 2 hours at 3 a.m. and no sleep just to pick him up from the hospital, and spent the whole summer helping him recover from his injury, including bathing and wiping him because he needed me. He argues some more, then finally at 2:30 p.m. takes me to the hospital 7 minutes away. It turns out that I had an advanced UTI and infection in my bladder and kidneys, as well as a kidney stone that was infected. I felt bad as I recalled my attitude that morning, but I was in a lot of pain. I do recall saying things like, fine, just don't help then, and you're being a prick, in rebuttal to his attitude. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Past the kidney stone, past the boyfriend. Not the a-hole. You need rid of all these. Screaming and crying in pain? A person that can ignore that is not the one for you. I take it cab etc. weren't an option? You can't rely on this guy. so you need to have alternatives. Nope. Super small town, so no Uber, etc. He really was my only option at the time to get the care I needed, and he knew that. Babe, dump him to the curb, and I don't say that often. He is not a keeper. You will have to drive to give birth alone, raise kids alone. My hubby had those kinds of pains and it was his appendix. If I had waited, it would have ruptured. Just run for your life. Quite literally. Because if they had kid, OP must also raise the adult child too. Also, someone who's refusing to help you to go to ER is something you must stay away from. You were in pain and asked to go to the hospital. Why your partner didn't hop up like there was a fire under him is concerning. Sounds like you need a new boyfriend. One that actually cares about your well-being. Yep, this. First, not day home. Then, red flags. This boy has shown you who he is, and how he doesn't value you or your health. Kick that dude to the curb. You not only can do better, you must do better. First of all, I hope this is a troll, because can such a bad boyfriend exist? Dump the whole man. At least that's what I would do. What kind of person could ignore their partner who isn't this much pain? Also, you said you are known to overreact. Is this something you've actually noticed about yourself? Have people in your life told you that you tend to do that? Or was it just your boyfriend? Mostly boyfriend. After posting this, it's kinda starting to make sense why he keeps cheating and I can't get him to stop. Because it's starting to become clear he doesn't care. He's cheating too? If you stay in this relationship, you're the a-hole to yourself. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for exposing and embarrassing my brother's girlfriend? So I'll keep this as brief as I can. My brother started dating this lady, Jessica, in January. The three of us live in the same city, about 3 hours from me and my brother's parents/extended family. So until recently, I was the only member of his family Jessica had met. One of my brother's favorite things to eat is this sweet potato and red pepper soup I make. The relevant info here is that the soup features onions as an ingredient. Not enough that you'd eat it and go, oh wow, this sure tastes like onions. But enough that if you skipped them, it wouldn't taste right. I make this soup for him approximately once a week, and Jessica has come to love it as much as he does, without ever mentioning any issues after eating it. So the issue. My brother, Jessica, and I traveled to Brother Dai's hometown for our grandmother's 90th birthday celebration this week. Our mom was catering it, specifically with traditional Indian foods, since that's where she and our grandmother are from. However, when we arrived and I offered to help mom with the prep work, I noticed she was making several additional dishes like chicken nuggets, chips and finger sandwiches, and was keeping them well separate from the rest of the food. I asked what that was about, and she casually said, I'm just making sure that Jessica can have something to eat with her allergies. I said I didn't know she had allergies, and mom said, yes, she says she's severely allergic to onion, garlic, and coriander. If you're familiar with Indian cuisine at all, you get why it would be an issue for someone with these allergies. Except, Jessica eats my soup. All the time. It has onions, and it's never caused her a reaction. The part where I may have been an a-hole is I said this to my mom, which, if you're familiar with Indian mothers, you may understand how that could have been a bad move. She didn't kick off or act aggressive, but she did confront Jessica about lying and ask if there was something wrong with her cooking. Jessica just got kind of red and stammer, and eventually admitted that she just doesn't like all that curry stuff, but thought saying she was allergic would be less awkward. Mom got pissed off because she'd taken such efforts to keep everything separate and whatever to avoid cross-contamination. Jessica got mad because mom was mad, and my brother got mad at me for saying anything in the first place. Everything got rather awkward and Jessica ended up not even coming to the party. They now haven't spoken to me all week, except for my brother telling me I'm a gossipy a-hole, and that I shouldn't have said anything, which, yeah, I kind of get. Was I an a-hole? I didn't intend to cause drama. It was kinda just a surprised, oh that's weird. My soup with onions in doesn't make her ill. I feel bad for ruining her first impression with our family and embarrassing her. You didn't expose her maliciously. You were simply caught in her lie. Nothing would have happened if Jessica hadn't lied to start with. Faking allergies to force people to cater to your needs is very disrespectful. I understand that Jessica's mad at you because now, she won't get any respect from this side of the family and will always be seen as the liar. But it's all on her. She played a stupid game, she won a stupid prize. Faking allergies to force people to cater to your needs is very disrespectful. And it makes things so difficult for people who do have them. My best friend is allergic to garlic, hot peppers, strawberries, basil, rice, all sorts of weird stuff. When people fake allergies and get caught at it, it makes the lives of people like my friend more dangerous. Yep, I have major and weird food allergies. The number of times people have decided that because Joe Blow is faking, I must be too, have been insane. So do I. I am allergic to nightshade. I had a waitress hide a small piece of tomato in my food once. It sent me into anaphylaxis in front of my small children. Jessica lied to your mom to avoid all that curry stuff. Brother blamed you for gossiping? You answered your mom's honest conversation about how she was trying to do the right kind of cooking for Jessica. Your mom sounds great. Poor woman to have Jessica for a possible future daughter-in-law. Yeah, mom's awesome. That's part of the reason this is so annoying. If Jessica just said, hey, I don't care for Indian food, mom would still have made her something else. She just wouldn't have had to go to the effort of preparing separate sanitized work surfaces and what have you. She could have just wiped things down as normal between prep. I'm glad you recognize how awesome your mom is. I would give my non-existent left nut for an in-law who would go that far to accommodate our food allergies. Next story. Why 53 female is not okay with me 55 male, paying for part of my ex-wife's 55 female daughter's 27 female wedding. My ex-wife and I were high school sweethearts and married as soon as we graduated. We stayed together for 5 years and had a daughter. We'll call her Kara. The relationship wasn't working, so we split, and my ex came out as a lesbian. My ex later had another daughter, Hannah, via honor, and I ended up becoming a father to Hannah. My ex didn't ask me to. We were on very friendly terms and already co-parenting Kara, so it came naturally. I met my now wife 3 years later, and she was very understanding of the situation and took the role of stepmother to both kids. We also have a son. Hannah's getting married next year, and my ex and her partner and I will all be paying for the wedding. We talked about this before, including my wife, and everyone was fine with it. But now my wife tells me she doesn't like the idea of me paying for the wedding of a child who isn't really mine. She thinks that the money should go towards our son's education instead. I already saved some money for our son that should cover him for a couple of semesters. He can always work part-time or apply for financial aid as well. Still, my wife is upset and thinks I've taken care of her enough, and it's time to basically exit her life. I'm shocked because she seemed to absolutely adore Hannah, but I guess she never really considered her family. She made it known that she wouldn't care if it was Kara because she's my actual blood daughter. But I consider Hannah my daughter, and my ex's partner has also been a parent to Kara, including financially despite no relation, so it isn't one-sided. Edit. I'm putting in $1,200, and so is my ex and her partner. The money is coming from my separate account. Any other expenses will be covered by Hannah and her fiancé. They aren't having anything extravagant, and I have way more saved for my son. If him or Kara get married, I will put in for them too. Now for the comments. All of this over $1,200? I thought it was like $25,000 since she wanted you to use it for your son's education. Just give them money and move on. Using it for their son's education was really just a lame excuse. She just doesn't want her husband to pay anything because she isn't blood. Opie's wife sounds awful. Agreed. He sounds like a wonderful man being there for his kids, and a wife sounds bitter and hateful. Blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family. Hey Opie, it's $1,200 and your daughter's big day. I'd say pay for it out of your personal account. I'm so glad for the sanity check, because the comment section looked very different an hour ago, and I wondered if I was legit going crazy. He had an established relationship with Hannah before he met his wife. She knew he parented her and considered her his. She agreed to marry him knowing this. She co-parented Hannah. Here's the deal. Hannah is your daughter. Blood doesn't mean much. Being present and involved does. This was established before you were even married. Therefore, helping with her wedding is not only acceptable, but absolutely appropriate as you are her father. I adopted my daughter and have 2 boys of my own, and I love her as much as my boys. Well, probably more because daughters always hold a special place in a father's heart. I think you need to have a candid talk with your wife about this, and how important it is for you. Now for the last story. I feel like my female friends are hitting on my boyfriend, and I don't know how to address it. My boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 24 female, live together, and for the last 7 months have also worked in the same place of employment. We don't work closely, but other employees are aware we are dating because we arrive and leave together, and typically take lunch breaks together. For background information, I am very introverted. I find it incredibly difficult to make friends. I haven't had any friends for a few years now, especially with COVID. Recently, 2 girls with whom I frequently work with started chatting with me from time to time. I don't know their ages, but I think they're closer to my boyfriend's age than mine. They asked the other day if I wanted to hang out with them, and I was so excited. They suggested a movie night, and I offered to host but explained that my boyfriend would be home. They said this was fine and was at its time and date. They are currently still over, and we're watching a movie. I bought wine and made a few baked goods and also bought some chips. I just wanted to have a good time. When they arrived, they were friendly, but when my boyfriend came to watch the movie with us, they started to ignore me. The girl beside me sneezed and accidentally spilled her wine in my lap. She apologized, but it did feel intentional. I laughed it off and went to get changed. When I came back, both girls had moved to the same couch as my boyfriend. One was whispering something to him and the other was touching his arm, acting afraid. We were watching a scary movie. My boyfriend looked mildly uncomfortable and was sitting forward in his seat. When they saw me return, the girl stopped and kept watching the movie, but didn't move. I sat on the couch I was on initially, and my boyfriend moved to sit with me. Both girls followed and sat beside him. Nothing more really happened. The movie's almost over, but they've asked to sleep over. They've both had wine, and I don't want to force them to leave if they're intoxicated, but everything that happened made me so uncomfortable. I thought they just wanted to be my friends, but now I don't know. Am I being oversensitive? I don't even know anymore. No, you're not. That is super inappropriate. I would ask them to leave. It's 2021, they can call an Uber. I would talk to your boyfriend too. He clearly wasn't okay with it, but just to be on the same page. But in no way are you being sensitive. Honestly, I would have asked them to leave the second I saw that. Just the fact that they changed seats twice to be close to him, super prick move. I wonder if them suddenly wanting to hang out with Opie coincided with them seeing her boyfriend for the first time. I wouldn't be shocked. I actually had the same thought after reading a few comments saying Opie is basically crazy, that no one acts like this. I, for one, am not shocked women and men alike have no respect anymore, and a lot of young women take pride in getting a taken man. Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. Any girl can get a single guy these days if they know what they're doing. A taken guy, however, is more of a challenge because they aren't just gonna throw themselves at you. My boyfriend looked mildly uncomfortable and was sitting forward in his seat. My boyfriend moved to sit with me. He is a proper fella. Good for him. I don't want to force them to leave. Time to put on your big girl pants. You did invite them to a sleepover. If you let them walk over you on this, they're just going to amp up their attempts at your boyfriend. You'd expect him to handle it where it's his friends behaving this way to you. Put your foot down. Then apologize to him, tell him you love him and you won't put him in that position again. Trust me, that's going to make him love and respect you even more. You're definitely not being oversensitive whatsoever. I would be 100% uncomfortable myself, and the fact that your boyfriend was uncomfortable too shows that this isn't just nothing. I would personally speak to them and say that what they did made both of you feel uncomfortable, and that type of behavior cannot continue if they want their friendship with you to continue also. If they get upset and blame you in any way, take that as a response and don't entertain them anymore. If they don't say anything, take that as a response also and don't entertain them. Hopefully they'll understand your boundaries, but if not, it's not the end of the world. I don't have many friends myself. It is important to remember that your self-worth doesn't reflect on how many friends you have. As long as you enjoy your own company, that's all that matters. First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my boyfriend's friend out after what he did with my food? My female 28, boyfriend's male 30, childhood friend, male 30s, recently moved in with us after his place was ruined by fire. One thing I learned about him is that he loves being in the kitchen and cooking food. He's taken over the kitchen, not letting me cook my own meals. Since I'm allergic to certain ingredients, before eating his food I ask him if he put extra ingredients to make sure I don't eat food I'm allergic to. He'd lie and say no. So far, he's done it twice, resulting in my skin getting affected. I started cooking my own meal since he won't stop lying about putting certain ingredients in his food and causing me to find out the hard way. He clearly doesn't take it seriously and probably trying to prove my allergy doesn't exist. In the evening, I went to take a shower after I was done preparing my dinner and leaving it in the oven. My boyfriend's friend was in the kitchen the entire time, but was sitting at the table playing with his phone. After I got out of the shower, I went to check on my dinner, and almost immediately after looking at and smelling it, I noticed something was wrong. I asked if he's done anything to it. He shook his head, saying he didn't do much. After tasting it, he said he just added X ingredients since the meal lacked something. My dinner was ruined since I couldn't eat after he added ingredients I was allergic to. I snapped and yelled at him, telling him he had no business touching my food, and asked him what exactly his problem was because it looked like he was trying to prove a point of some sort. My boyfriend joined the argument. His friend's face turned red, claiming I was raising my voice for no reason. I told him to leave after arguing back and forth. My boyfriend gave him a ride to a mutual friend's place. That's how the other friends knew. And the next day, they lashed out at me, calling me toxic, mean, heartless, controlling, and that I overreacted, and should try to drive a wedge between childhood friends and kick him out while he's struggling. They berated me and demanded I apologize publicly, but I refused. To clarify two things. One, he said he thought the dinner was for all of us since he didn't cook. Suddenly no longer wanted to cook after I started making my own meals. And two, throughout the entire argument, he said he didn't know I was allergic to that ingredient that he put in my dinner. But I'm sure I've already mentioned all the things that I don't eat in my meals. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Of course he told the other friends a highly biased version of events. The reality is that he knowingly and intentionally put allergens in your food. This person could not be trusted, period. Food tampering is also a felony. He's lucky you're not pressing charges. Not a-hole. Maybe she should. Not a-hole. And then she can be an a-hole to everyone because how could you? And it was just an accident. And he didn't know you were allergic. And you're so sensitive. And are you even allergic? Oh, wait. And it was just a prank, bro. Honestly, depending on how severe her allergic reaction could be to that ingredient, she freaking should. Real life has real consequences. Even after saying depending on how severe, I'm like, screw it, dude. Not depending. Just do it. Not a-hole. He was purposefully poisoning you after you let him stay in your home. He knows you're allergic and sneaks it in your food anyway. In a lot of states, that is considered assault and could be prosecuted. Cut him off. Anyone standing up for him deserves to be cut off too. Yep, I agree 100%. A normal person doesn't contaminate someone else's food with ingredients they know the person is allergic to. He should definitely apologize. Not a-hole. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for insulting my sister-in-law after years of holding my tongue? My sister-in-law is low class. I really have no better way of putting it. She has a 10th grade education, thinks she's smarter than everyone else, and brags to make herself seem like more than she is. At her core, she's white trash, plain and simple. My brother's the only reason she's not living in a trailer right now. She will bluntly talk about her sex life, about things she's done, and stuff that nobody really wants to hear. She'll also openly insult me, and I'm told by my parents to just accept it and not make waves with my brother. For 8 years, I've tolerated her on the basis that she makes my brother happy. This weekend, we were all together and she began talking about how my brother is a blanket hog. My fiancé laughed and admitted that she was the blanket hog when we shared a bed, and I never woke her up to get them back. Sister-in-law responded that she would wake my brother out of a sound sleep to get the blankets back, and that once he was awake, he'd be looking for something else. She then stated that I knew better than to wake my fiancé up, because I obviously didn't have my A-game at the time. These feral comments are typical of the type of things she typically says. I replied, I can make do with a sheet and light blanket. I don't need to disturb her sleep when she gets up so early. She laughed. I'm just saying, don't wake us up if you don't have the game to back it up. My fiancé was a virgin when we got together. This is not well known, as it's really nobody's business but hers. At this point, I'd had a few drinks and I was feeling a bit prickish. I smiled and replied, I can confidently say I am the best that my fiancé has ever had in her life. Sister-in-law rolled her eyes, looked at my fiancé and asked, really? I mean, I know you have to stroke his ego, but really? My fiancé laughed. Well, actually, he's right. He is definitely the best I've ever had, and that's not an exaggeration. Sister-in-law shook her head. In your whole life? Be honest, woman to woman, who's the best? My fiancé admitted, he's my first, best and only. Sister-in-law laughed. Wow, seriously? You gotta put some miles on those tires before deciding on the best. I interjected, well, when you buy a new model right off the floor as opposed to a used-up beater, you don't have to worry about who's been inside of it before you. Note, I do not think of women like this. I love and value my fiancé no matter what, and I drunkenly attempted to flip her own metaphor back on my sister-in-law. Sister-in-law became very quiet, and they left shortly after. My brother told me that my sister-in-law is very upset with me and says I called her a whore. I told him that I'd been holding my tongue for a decade for his benefit, and I was done putting up with her. I regret saying it, mainly because of the sexist implication and being drunk, but I stand by shutting down that line of conversation. Am I the a-hole? I regret saying it. No, you don't. If you did, you'd be apologizing to your brother and to your sister-in-law for that comment. Regardless if that is how you think of your sister-in-law and her comments, why the hell would you hang out with her? It's like you revel in the conflict and drama it brings. She sucks, but you're no angel. Think of some other way of resolving conflict than making sexist, disgusting comments like that. Everyone sucks here. Agree, everyone sucks here. OP, if you have an issue with sister-in-law, say something to her face in a one-on-one discussion, rather than just think she is trash for years and then shame her in a group setting. The fact that you said, note, I don't think of all women like this, shows that you already know this was a bad thing to say. You really could have said nothing at all, or told her you don't like her implying things about her sex life because it's none of her business and rude. Definitely, everyone sucks here. Everyone sucks here. By all accounts, your sister-in-law is trash, but what you said is awful. Apologize to your fiancé, as frankly I feel she deserves it. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister her body hair is ruining her dates? My sister 22 female and I 26 female both have PCOS. As a result, we have very thick, dark body hair and facial hair that can honestly rival some men's. I personally choose to shave regularly because I can't stand how it looks and feels. My sister used to shave, but about a year ago decided she wanted to stop. Of course I support her 100% and think she's beautiful. What she does with her body is her business. However, there is an issue. My sister uses old pictures of herself back when she was shaving and dating apps. This has led to a lot of problems in her romantic life. She often complains she never gets a second date, and sometimes people even leave mid-date. I think this is kind of her fault because she's being disingenuous about her appearance, which is a horrible thing to do. I have always bit my tongue and just supported her about this topic until recently. The other day, she was venting again about another failed date. She asked me why this keeps happening to her. I told her she should consider updating her profile pictures. She got defensive and asked why she would need to do that. I told her that it would probably help so people know what she looks like since she looks a lot different than when they were taken. She started getting extremely angry and said that a little body hair doesn't make that much of a difference, and the right person won't mind a little hair. Again, our body and facial hair is very thick and dark, and in my opinion, definitely makes a difference. When I don't shave, I get a full mustache and beard, and my sister's the same. The people she's going on dates with aren't expecting her to show up with a full mustache and beard because her pictures show her clean shaven. I told her that she's beautiful, but she's giving people false expectations, which is why she's having bad luck dating. She should just be honest from the start and the right one will come along. But she was infuriated and said I was being unsupportive and misogynistic. She has refused to talk to me since, and my family's now calling me an a-hole too because they think I was shaming her. My sister even posted on social media that body hair is beautiful. The stigma attached to it is misogynistic. It sucks when your own family won't support you. Did I go wrong somewhere here? I love my sister and don't think body and facial hair is a bad thing at all. But I don't think it's right to basically catfish people and then blame them for not being interested and treating them like they're horrible people when you misled them. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. She's lied to those who look at her profile. And if body hair is natural and she's okay with it, why won't she update her picture? She's okay with her hair, proud of it. So why? Because she knows she won't get as many first dates if she did update it, is what I think. But it would solve the issue of people leaving in the middle of the date because they were lied to. Right. Her statement of the right person wouldn't mind a bit of body hair contradicts the fact she has an old pre-hair profile picture. Because she's not attracting the right person. She's attracting the wrong ones and going on dates with the wrong ones. She has to decide whether she wants lots of first dates or if she wants to really put herself out there with a new picture and try to find someone who will actually connect with her. Not Day-Hall-OP. You were honest but gentle about the whole thing. Exactly. If it doesn't matter, then a recent picture shouldn't matter either. Not Day-Hall. I have PCOS. And the honest answer is, if you choose to embrace the body hair issue, embrace it. But if she is claiming to embrace it, then not backing it up with being proud about it, then that's a huge issue. I also have PCOS and insulin resistance. I have a beard that would rival most men's, but I shave every day. I also have a pretty good happy trail as well. Not Day-Hall. Wow, your sister loves being the victim, doesn't she? No offense. If I see a guy clean-shaved, then I meet him in person with a beard, I'd straight up call him what he is. Catfisher. Body hair or not, if it's something she knows will make people swipe left, she should put it up there. Doesn't matter if she has extra weight, shorter hair, or a facial scar. Changing pictures, will make people swipe left, and meeting with them regardless is catfishing. And even if right guys show up, he would leave after being deceived. She loves complaining about them not staying when she's the one who catfished and wasted their time. Then blamed you when she asked for your opinion and got defensive. The fact that she also made a post doesn't help either. She loves being the victim, and it's on her, not you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not going along with my girlfriend's lie in her family's Zoom call? I, 22 male, was invited to my girlfriend's 21 female extended family's Zoom call where everyone eats dinner together and then plays games. As we were eating, they were mostly talking amongst themselves, and then one of her aunts said to me, "I've heard a lot of good things about you. I'm told that you're an engineer. So is my husband." He asked me what field of engineering I was in, as he is an electrical engineer at a major firm. I was a little confused at this point because that's not true. I work in the maintenance department at a children's hospital, and I'm a building maintenance tech. I went to trade school for building maintenance right after high school, and what I told my girlfriend was that I always wanted to pursue my bachelor's, but only after I've had time to save toward it. I do not want to take out loans. I told him, actually, I'm a building maintenance tech at XYZ hospital, but I'm considering my employer's tuition reimbursement program because I want to apply to mechanical engineering programs this year. It got really awkward, and her uncle was nice about it. Her uncle and her dad started asking me questions about what work was like in a hospital setting for non-clinical personnel at this time, and the conversation went in that direction. She chimed in when they asked her about school and her post-grad plans, but was pretty quiet. After the call, she called me on FaceTime and said that it was basically the same thing. And I said if it's basically the same thing, then why did you lie about it? She explained that her aunts could be classist, and that it would have been better if I had just gone along with it, because I made her look stupid in front of her family, and that her aunts probably think less of both me and her now. I told her that I like what I do. It keeps a roof over my head, and I've been fortunate to keep my job this entire time, all without having a college degree yet. After she repeated that she felt stupid, I said I would talk to her later because I felt like the conversation was not going anywhere. But now I really feel like I did the wrong thing and made things complicated for her with her family. Am I the a-hole for not going along with her lying about my job to help her save face? Edit, I've been with her for 6 months. Not a-hole. You were honest and managed a perfectly pleasant conversation with her family. Her fudging the truth is on her. If she was going to do that, she could have broached the subject with you to see if that was something you'd agree to doing for her. I have to wonder, is the aunt really classist or is she? I agree with most of what you said, except she didn't fudge. She lied outright. And she lied because, well, she's embarrassed to be with Opie. I'm sorry, Opie, but that classist aunt's excuse is BS. Not in the fact that the aunts may or may not be classist snobs, but that if they are, it's strictly a them problem, not an Opie problem. There's no reason why she wouldn't share your occupation. You are a skilled technician, and since you don't share her apparently rarefied birth circumstances, You are rightly worried about life-crushing college debt, the #1 ruiner of future behind medical debt. It's plain and simple to see. She thinks you, 1, have to be defended, which she should have your back already. But more importantly, 2, you can't be defended, so it's better to lie about you. I, 22 male, was invited to my girlfriend's 21 female extended family's Zoom call where everyone eats dinner together and then plays games. And then one of her aunts said to me, "I've heard a lot of good things about you. I'm told that you're an engineer." And set you up after girlfriend lied about your status. Professional courtesy denied. Her aunts could be classist and that it would have been better if I had just gone along with it because I made her look stupid. Girlfriend looks stupid. She lied. Opie looks honest and hardworking and may become an engineer. This is all in girlfriend. Stop lying, girlfriend. Not day haul. Lying is almost always the wrong way to go. And you sound like a catch. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Am I the a-hole for not delaying my wedding because my sister is going through a terrible divorce? My sister Rachel is separating from her husband Mark. Somebody anonymously sent Mark a letter in the mail claiming their 3 kids weren't his, ages 1, 3, and 4. Mark took a paternity test because the letter was so detailed that he had a feeling it might be true. The results came back and he wasn't the father of any of the kids. And Mark now wants nothing to do with my sister or my nieces and nephew. It's been hard on her, and everyone has been shaken. The problem is my fiancé and I are getting married soon. Everything is set for the end of October, and everyone is excited. But Rachel. She's told me multiple times to change the wedding date, so she can heal from the trauma of her husband abandoning her and their children. I told her no, and she burst into tears claiming I wasn't being supportive and that she wasn't coming. My fiancé's family have all booked time off to come to this wedding because they live out of state. But she claims I'm choosing his family over her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. All 3 of their children aren't his? That she repeatedly cheated on her husband and is now dealing with the consequences does not mean you don't get to move along with your life's plan. How would that sound anyway? I'm postponing my wedding so my sister that basically cheated on her husband 3 times can feel supported. Not stay home. I can't believe none of the kids are his. Poor guy. Your sister is the a-hole. She's at fault for her marriage collapsing, then demands everyone else to stop their lives so she can heal from the trauma of the consequences of her actions catching up to her. Definitely the a-hole. The nerve of her to say he abandoned his wife and children. None of the children were his. He is not the father, and they're young enough, at least, to not be too affected if she puts in the work. She probably won't. Not stay home. Your sister caused much of her own trauma. She lied, and I would assume cheated on her husband, so she left her. She wasn't just abandoned. Enjoy your wedding. Probably best if she wasn't there anyways. Opie's ex-brother-in-law is the only one entitled to feel trauma. And those poor kids, especially the older ones. Not they all, Opie. You already had the day basically ready. People already have the time off. And personal bias. Halloween wedding? That better go through. Your sister talks about getting over trauma, yet she's the one that I'm sure broke a man. Enjoy your wedding and bust out a monster bash. She can take this time to either look for a sitter for the kids or learn how to deal with her own choices in life. If I were a guest and had arranged time off, transportation, hotel, etc. for this wedding, and then the date was moved because someone who is neither the bride nor groom cheated on their spouse years ago, don't bother inviting me to the new date. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my inheritance with a sibling? I don't have anyone I can share these thoughts with in person, so I'm hoping you guys can help me resolve this. I, 20 male, am a single child, or at least I thought I was. Then just over a year ago, I discovered that I have a sister, Lucy. The story goes that my mother had a child with her first boyfriend while she was in college, and they couldn't support her, so she opted for adoption at birth. My father was aware of this, but I was never told. Anyways, about a year ago, she made contact with our mother. They've gotten on pretty well, kept in touch, and go on the odd lunch. Lucy's also attended a couple of our family events this past year. Her and I get along fine as well. We're different people, so not friends. So I sort of see her as an acquaintance / friend of the family, I guess. It's a little odd because I know we're closely related, but at the same time, she doesn't feel like family, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's the backstory. Now on to the dilemma. My grandparents on my mother's side both passed away a few years ago. My mother was their only child, and I their only grandchild, and they left their entire estate to me. This was known to my parents and me before they passed, as they had expressed it when they made their will. My parents are well off financially. Mom's a nurse while dad's a doctor, and so they were fine with the arrangement. I was given access to the money on my 20th birthday, and the sum of money was much larger than I expected, totaling around $6 million. This is why I can't really talk about this with anyone impartial, because I don't really want friends etc. to know. Anyway, a few weeks ago my mother sat me down and asked me to share the money with Lucy. Now here's the thing. Like I said, to me Lucy is essentially an acquaintance. I know we're related by blood, but I don't exactly feel the type of connection to her that would merit giving her such a large sum of money, or any money at all for that matter. So I explained that to my mother, and she wasn't exactly happy with my answer. She believes I'm being extremely selfish, and that Lucy could very much benefit from this money as well, since she's still a college student and in debt. Here's where I think I might be the a-hole. I don't really see that as my problem. I believe families who feels like family, not who shares your DNA. Secondly, my grandparents were aware of Lucy's existence, even though they never met her, and they chose to leave everything to me all the same. Also, it is not as though Lucy grew up poor in the foster system or anything. She was adopted at birth by what seems like two great people. Her adoptive parents are an accountant and a teacher. I do not plan to just hoard the money. I am starting law school this year, and plan to use it to start my own firm once I'm finished. So go forth and judge me, please. Am I being a selfish a-hole here, or am I justified in thinking that simply being related by blood doesn't merit any claim here? Not a-hole. Your grandparents were aware of Lucy's existence, and they chose not to leave her an inheritance. I'm guessing, since she was legally adopted, your grandparents didn't feel it was necessary. Also, Opie's mother was obviously aware of Lucy's existence, but seemingly did nothing about it until now. Either way, not a a-hole. Yeah. The adoption took away any legal right, at least where I'm from, to the inheritance. Mom tries to make up for giving her daughter away by giving away Opie's money. Though I get the sentiment, this will only divide a family. Really hope she didn't tell her daughter about the inheritance, as that could have set her up for a lot of hurt and fighting. Also, depending on where Opie lives, he should refrain from giving even a small amount of money, as that could be counted as admittance if the sister ever should try to sue. Not stay home. Your mother's parents could have made provisions for your mother and / or the daughter she gave up for adoption if they wanted. Your mother is free to make whatever arrangements she sees fit with her estate, but your grandparents made their wishes known when they left their estate to you. I agree. Your parents seem to be doing well, and now that you have that money, they could focus their finances on her. My father makes a majority of the family's income, and this isn't his child. So I don't know how he would feel about financing her. Should have mentioned that. By the same token, she is not your child. I generally agree with the no a-hole commentary. I'm just going to point out that if you don't share, that's totally valid. Just don't be surprised later if your mom leaves more to Lucy than you might otherwise expect, as her way of equalizing. Next story. Am I the a-hole for lashing out at my sister for not shutting up about adoption decision? My girlfriend, 25 female, is almost 4 months pregnant. We try to be careful with protection, but I guess we messed up, and here we are. Her and I, 25 male, decided adoption will be best. We want kids in the future, but we're both working minimum wage jobs, barely making it okay with the bills every month. And we talked about it a lot before we decided it just wouldn't be fair if our baby had to live in horrible conditions because it will get expensive, when we could find someone who might be able to. We found this couple through friends of friends, and we are getting to know them pretty well, seeing what kind of people they are. My family knows we're choosing this route, and for the most part, support it. My sister, 35, however, keeps pushing that we keep the baby. She has 3 kids herself, and all she keeps saying is parenthood is hard, but it's rewarding. I've told her, yeah, we get that. We want kids, but in the future with better jobs, and us not counting change in our pockets to take the train to work. It's been hard enough accepting the reality that we won't get to raise our first baby together, and her constant comments don't make it better. Even when I ask her, tell me how we're gonna support a baby, she just said she doesn't know, but you'll find a way. I've told her many times to stop talking about it because of everything it does to us, and she's not even being helpful. Today at my mom's, she still brings it up again. Just saying she really thinks we're making a mistake, and talking about how tough it'll be as a parent, but it'll be worth it. My girlfriend got all upset, she went to the bathroom. And I don't know, I just told her to shut up already. Exactly like that. And that I'm sick of her always talking about this. We know everything we're going to miss out on, so stop talking already. Wasn't like screaming or anything, but I did raise my voice at her because I was just so frustrated already. We didn't stay long, but yeah, my sister does think I was an a-hole for having that reaction. And she didn't deserve to be told shut up for simply caring about her future niece/nephew. We've never fought like this before, but I really couldn't take it anymore. She won't talk to me. Still thinks I was in the wrong. It's hard to see how, but maybe I missed something. Was I an a-hole? Now for the comments. Not an a-hole. You made a very hard, extremely mature decision. Your sister has zero say in it, and if she haven't understand it by now, I guess now she does. If she cares about the baby so much, she can adopt it herself. Good luck, Opie. Funny thing is, I suggested that if she's so adamant about us keeping the baby, but she just told me to stop being ridiculous. Yeah, sounds like she cares so much about future nephew/niece. Not a home. You've thought about it thoroughly and made what you feel is the best decision for yourselves and your child. Your sister needs to back off and realize it's not a decision you made lightly. If she's that adamant you keep the child, is she planning to help you out financially? Unless she is, she has no say in anything. As someone who struggled with fertility, thank you. Thank you for doing the best for your child. Thank you for giving someone a chance at parenthood that they may not have had otherwise. And good luck with everything. You're doing an incredible, selfless thing. I've brought that up before, and obviously her answer is don't be ridiculous, and then that she has 3 kids she's already supporting. That means a lot. Usually don't get all watery eyes for a comment, but this one does it. Hasn't been easy, especially for my girlfriend. I wish we didn't have to make this choice, but we know this is for the best. I really hope things worked out for you. Hey Opie, I don't know if you're planning an open adoption. Sounds like it. But regardless, a lot can happen over years. I advise you and your girlfriend to write a letter to the baby explaining your decision and how much you love it and wish the timing could have been better. Give it to the adoptive parents. If anything happens, they move away, the relationship sours, something happens to you and/or your girlfriend, etc., then the child will always have your reasons and your love. Something like that, yeah. They'd like for the baby to know about us as they grow up, even if we're not in contact. We're doing something like that, but it's more like a personal journal from each of us, a letter and some pictures. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for RSVPing no to my stepsister's wedding? My stepsister Serena and I have been stepsisters since I was 5 and she was 9, but we have known each other longer. I honestly don't remember my life before she or her mom were in it. Serena's dad passed away when she was a baby, and my mom died 18 months after my dad married my stepmom. So we essentially lived together for a large chunk of our childhoods. But she never did consider me family or her sister. She's older, so I get that the experience was different for her, and she remembers a life before me. I never took it too personally, though I did try to make us closer over the years, but she was never interested. People used to tell me that once we were adults, it would be easier because we'd be at the same stage in life. Serena's getting married in a little over 2 months, and I decided to RSVP no to the invite. I was always a little awkward about going, but I would have. But last month, my parents invited Serena's bridesmaids over to thank them for being part of the wedding. There, I learned that one of her friends' younger sister was also going to be a bridesmaid. This is a friend she has known since senior year of high school. The younger sister is apparently someone she considers a sister. The youngest sister then told me Serena always said she was the sister she never had and stuff. That she had specially asked her to be in the wedding because she considered her as close to a baby sibling as she ever got, and wanted her there. Said nothing, but it just made me realize that she actively chose not to try with me, but could choose to try with one of her friend's siblings she met years after meeting me. Through talking with Serena's little sister, I realized she had made such a big effort to hang out with and spend time with her. It went to her milestones like graduation or even big birthdays. Sweet 16, 21st. She never showed up to that stuff for me, or when she did, my 21st she did show for. She made no effort to hang out with me. She went because her mom had paid for an open bar, and some of her family was going to be there. I don't remember her even speaking to me that night. So I RSVP'd no, and her future husband sent me an email, with my name wrong, that Serena didn't want her mom to know. But then he went and mentioned it to my dad and now it has blown up. My dad asked why I wouldn't attend, and her mom is saying that after all she has done for me, I should show up and be part of the family event. To me, I might be their family, but Serena has made it very clear I'm not hers. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I feel guilty too because this has made ripples in my family. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add, Serena's little sister had no idea I was her stepsister. The little I gathered is, she thought I was a niece of my dad, or as she put it, her mom's husband's niece. Another point, because it may be relevant, is she doesn't talk to me. I make the effort, but she does not communicate with me of her own volition. I was always the one trying to engage with her. Even as basic as a hi, I don't get from her. Not day home. Why go to a wedding of someone who has made zero effort to make you feel important to them? I wouldn't go. Not day home. Would Opie even be invited to be part of the photos? Or at best, be tolerated as part of them? It's okay. You don't need to humiliate yourself to make others happy. You did your best. You don't owe anyone more than that. Don't feel bad. Your parents and step are the a-holes for guilting you rather than your stepsister. It's clear she doesn't consider you a sister. You're not obligated to carry on the charade. I know I've been indifferent at best to you your entire life, and I don't acknowledge our relationship at all. Actually, I don't even really like you. But our parents want me to invite you, and I really want more presents. Does she even want you to come? Will she even say hi? Will she notice if you're not there? Oh, will she even say how she knows you? Or will you be an old family friend? Not stay home. Don't feel bad. You didn't do it. Stepsister caused this. You are over 21. Sit your dad and stepmom down and explain what you wrote here. Say, assure stepmom it has nothing to do with how much you appreciate what she's done for you. That you don't blame her for how sister treats you. But at this point in your lives, you give up. Include the tidbit about the soon-to-be husband didn't even get your name right and told you to keep it from her. That while you tried, you now accept it's never going to change. And hearing about the little sister she always wanted helped you see that more clearly. It makes you sad, but you won't spend any more time being the only one putting effort in. I'd put cash on guessing they didn't want the mom to know about the email, because she probably already talked to sister about you not being in the wedding. Stepmom is probably freaking out because she knows her child is being an A. Can't control your reaction either. It may be forced to admit the ugly truth about her kid and the relationship between her and your dad. Tell them you hope her day goes the way she wants it, that they both enjoy the day, but you do not wish to pretend anymore.